Welcome back. Welcome back to the Rev and Bone Show. It's been a little bit. How you doing tonight, T-Bone?
I'm excited to be back. It's been a minute, and we got a lot to catch up on. I'm excited to do so. Fans, we've missed you. We've missed you in the comments section. We've missed you everywhere. We're just happy to be back. Episode 9.
Yeah, you guys have been rapping down our doors, just knocking. Hey, let us in. Let us hear some
We
more
need you.
takes. We need to hear more takes.
Not
So,
enough takes out there.
yeah, not nearly enough takes out there. It's just a take desert, and people
Yeah,
are
we're here.
thirsty.
We're here to quench that.
We're here to quench that thirst. So, how you doing tonight, fellas? Hope you're doing well. I know I'm doing well. You got a Miller Lite over there?
Oh, I'm rocking a Miller Lite. You know it.
I'm rocking Coors Light.
Oh,
It's like we got a little house divided situation.
Uh-oh.
Happy wife, happy life. She prefers Coors Light. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's worse things to argue about, right?
Yeah. At least it's not Bud Light. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Oh.
Fellas, am I right? Pound off in the comments how much you hate Bud Light.
Get my AK-47 and just shoot it. Shoot that.
You know what I'm saying?
Kid
That's
Rock
what I'm
stuff.
saying. Kid Rock rocks.
He killed that one.
So on the show tonight, we got the most iconic number 9 because this is episode number 9. We've made it. This is the 10th episode, but episode number 9. But this is the 10th episode. We've made it 10 episodes. Me and T-Bone have talked on the internet for a solid, 20 hours so far?
Yeah. With our average show time, that's about right.
That's a lot. There's a lot that people can probably dig up on us at this point. So, hey, we are fertile ground. We are here to grow whatever hot takes you want to use against us. Here we are. We're putting ourselves out to the world.
Yeah. We're open books,
Take me as I am. We have the most iconic number 9 for episode 9. We have the NBA playoffs. The Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals are all dialed in. I got a commercial for them right in the background. What perfect timing. Just saw Jimmy G buckets back there. Got Jason Tatum. Got a lady in a pantsuit. That's pretty sick.
Yeah. Power suit.
Power suit. I like that. I like that those are, in style, hey, whatever people got to do to feel confident, I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
We got some NFL draft recap time. It was a couple weeks ago. We've had some time to ruminate on our feelings, really let those hot takes calm down a little bit, and the ones we're really mad about really peak up in our system. So little dips and valleys, and I'd say that's my reaction so far. Some things I'm still really upset about. Some things I've made my peace with. So we're going to get into that. And then we're going to talk a little Succession. Succession has 2 episodes left. Lots happened since we've been gone. Woo! So, yeah, boy, I tell you, Logan still dead. So
still dead. Still very much dead. Yes.
We're going to dive headfirst into that after a quick word from who's the most iconic number 9. Let's get it going. I'm going to go first. I'm going to be honest. This number didn't draw a lot of inspiration from me. Number 23, number 8, number 5, obviously myself. Those things, like, boom. Those numbers are owned. Number 9, nothing really revved the Revs motor, if you know what I'm saying. I do fall back on NASCAR numbers a lot. I do fall back on motocross numbers a lot. The motocross guys, they're a little bit lackluster in this. I will give a nice tip of the hat to Bill Elliott and his son Chase Elliott, rocking the number 9 out there. Bill Elliott came out with a Dodge. It was when Dodge entered into NASCAR. They came out with this dark maroon car with a number 9 with a very distinct font on it. Pretty iconic. Kind of changed the game a little bit as far as what people were putting on their cars. So I appreciate that. He also used to drive the Coors Light car, number 9. And his son Chase Elliott, pretty fun driver. He hurt his leg snowboarding recently. Get well soon, Chase. We're all T and P'ing for him. So yeah, I mean, they got a lot of the thunder from me, but I think personally it comes back down to Teddy fucking ball game, knocks it out of Fenway fucking Park. Ted Williams.
Yeah, that's hard to beat right there, man. Teddy Ballgame, 19-time All-Star, 2-time AL MVP, couple of triple crowns under his belt, 6-time batting champ, 4-time home run champ.
Who's the
4-time
last
AL.
Triple Crown winner?
I think Miguel Cabrera hit one at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fairly recently.
But that shit stood for a long time without somebody hitting for one. So
Derek Lee got close one summer.
Close. Yep. Yeah. 1942 though, Triple Crown winner. 1941 batted 400, 406 to be exact. And then what does he do? He leaves to serve his country for war.
Hey,
who's doing that?
Elvis
And Teddy Ballgame. No one's doing that these days. He's an iconic figure. Teddy Ballgame is 344 career batting average, first ballot Hall of Fame. Honestly, he's an all-timer. He's an all-century. MLB record 482 on base percentage all time. Still stands today.
That's half the time he gets on base.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
I mean, we should really let that settle in for casual baseball fans out there who may not know. That's an astronomical number to be on base. But when I think of number 9, I don't necessarily think of Teddy Ballgame. Like if you told me he was number 9, you could tell me he was any jersey number, I would have believed it at some point because the man died before I was born.
I will say that's the case with a lot of baseball players for me.
Sure. Absolutely. I agree.
Their 100%. Numbers just aren't synonymous with them. Derek Jeter is one, but 2, but he is one of them. But yeah. So go on.
But when I think of Teddy Ballgame, I don't think of number 9. I think of 400. To be perfectly honest, that 400 batting average is something that I don't think will ever be touched again.
Nomar got close.
As long as we're out here, Tony Gwynn got close a couple times. He hit 390 a few times. But
that's also incredible.
400 is like an unreachable number at this point. So when I think of 400, I think of Teddy Ballgame. I don't necessarily think of 9. So when we get to episode 400, Teddy Ballgame all day.
Okay. It's about.
But when I think of 9, I think of the most iconic player on the most iconic team ever assembled. And I'm thinking about the 1992 Dream Team.
Yeah, okay.
And Mike. So
nice. There you go. Pop that sucker on. Let's see it.
We're gonna throw it on businessman at a game style over the dress shirt.
Hey, just got out of work, going to the game.
Got off work, hopped off the train, stumbled into the gift shop.
No way are those guys taking the train. They're driving and they're parking in VIP parking where we parked for that Blackhawks game. That's their lot.
All right. They got the personal driver maybe dropping them off at the secret entrance.
Definitely.
But man, that 92 Dream Team was something else that will never be seen again. That was just like the first time, obviously, that NBA players were rostered for an Olympics, and they beat every team by 40 plus points. It was crazy. They were the Beatles when they traveled up to Barcelona and mobbed everywhere they went. And Jordan was the leader of the team. He may not have been the leading scorer. I think Barkley led the team in scoring actually, but he was for sure the most iconic of the roster and remains so to this day. Greatest of all time. Anytime I can plug Mike, I'm plugging Mike. So
yeah, I think Barkley came out recently and said that they would beat guys by 40 and the other team would come up asking for autographs.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. There's a great book too, the Dream Team. Jack McKinnon wrote. He followed the team back in the day when in '92 when they were in Europe in Barcelona for the Olympics, and some great stories in there of the scrimmages that they played, and the games obviously were blowouts, but the scrimmages that led up to the games were almost more iconic than the games. You'd have 5-on-5 where it's Jordan, Barkley, Pippen versus Karl Malone, Magic, John Stockton, guys that are top 50 all-timers on the same
Bird
team.
out there?
Bird had an injured back.
Poor guy.
He didn't play much. But top to bottom, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing.
The big dog. Oh, no, that was Glenn Robinson.
The one, Glenn Robinson could have probably played on that team, actually. It took Christian Laettner as the one college player back then, and that was the one area of controversy, I think, surrounding that team was like, does he belong on the team? Should he be here? Should it have been Shaq? Maybe, probably. But Leitner had like that name recognition, I guess, and the following with Duke and coming off a national championship, all that. So
Yeah, Coach K was the coach, right?
he was. No. Chuck Daly coached it
You're
back
right.
then.
What
Yeah,
Coach K came in.
he came
He was
in
he was the coach
2000.
for 04. Yeah, he lost in 04 in
Yeah,
Greece.
that bronze medal.
Yeah.
Athens disappointment. But they
Yeah.
came back strong after that and haven't lost the gold since. I think we talked about the Dream Team Kobe moment last episode for episode 8. Great documentary though. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's definitely worth a scroll down Netflix or wherever it's. Is it on Netflix? I
I
don't
have
know where it's
no
at.
idea.
Wherever it's at, it's good. Chronicling the team after that 2004 bronze team. They came back and regrouped for 2008, and Kobe led that team, got them all on the right page, and it's been gold medals ever since. But 92 Dream Team, we'll never see another phenomena quite like that. So, got to shout out Mike whenever I can, and he's the most iconic number 9 for me.
That's a great pick. I mean, anytime that you can shoehorn Chicago Bull player, more so Michael Jordan, into the episode, you got to take that chance. So
yeah, for sure.
I can appreciate that.
He's got NBA records, but he does hold a couple Olympic records for assists against Germany in 92, 8 steals against Angola in 92, which, I mean, let's face it, Angola, not really much competition, but
where is Angola?
Record still stands. It's in Africa.
Okay. Well, I probably would have guessed that by process of elimination, but
you got there. Yeah, you got there. But Jordan, greatest NBA player of all time. I'd like to know what he thinks about the NBA playoffs happening this year.
Yeah, he doesn't make a lot of public appearances, or really public statements.
Well, no, but I'd really want to hear what Kobe would have said, what guys that competed in the NBA playoffs before it became what it is now. I'm curious what they'd say about the level of competition in the playoffs today.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about the level of competition in the playoffs today?
Well, the level of competition in the playoffs today, that's a very specific question that I'm not entirely sure I was prepared for. The level of competition in the playoffs today. That's a great question, T-Bone. Thank you for asking me that. I think about the competition, and I just think about the spirit that they display on a night-to-night basis. Some people say that it's lacking a little bit. Some people say that they're giving their hearts out there, giving it their all. I fall somewhere in the middle. They're trying hard. What do you think?
I think it stinks.
Okay. NBA playoff talk. It's time for NBA playoff talk. Hit me with it. Why does it stink?
Well, I shouldn't say it stinks. I just think that growing up, watching it when I grew up, there was a level of, I feel like there's a level of competition and the fierce desire to win games doesn't seem to really be present with today's NBA. I don't know that we're seeing guys care about winning as much as they did back in the day. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm not inside these guys' brains, but the fact that you have games where we're in the playoffs, we just ended the conference semifinals, and I watched yesterday Boston, Philadelphia, and you had one side, Jaylen Brown on the Celtics diving for loose balls, going after it, getting after it, and guys on Philly just kind of walking around like they could care less if they got the ball or not.
Yeah,
these are playoff moments, and those are plays that give your team an extra possession, spark some intensity among your team, and it just seems like they could really give a shit less. So I don't know. I don't feel like I guess I'd have to go back and watch games from back then to really compare it, but it is apples to oranges when you're looking at era to era. But one thing that's not apples to oranges is the level of intensity that you bring to a playoff game. And I feel like those intense moments are lacking from today's NBA.
Yeah, that's agreeable. Yeah, a lot of these matchups just haven't really gotten the juices flowing. And I guess it's not so much the matchups, it's just the individual games. A lot of times, being out here on the West Coast, like the Eastern Conference games, they start at like 4 o'clock. So I'm not getting home from work till
So
5:30
bizarre.
or so. So yeah, I mean that kind of sucks. But then you go to turn on the game and it's already a blowout. One team's already loafing around. It's like, all right, I'm not gonna spend my evening watching this. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I thought the Warriors kind of. I'm not gonna say that they let me down. By the way, I'm getting bombarded at work right now with Lakers fans. They're just coming out of the woodwork, and all just like giving me shit. Like a guy today was like, "Hey, what happened to your Warriors?" My Warriors? I don't like the Warriors.
Any excuse LA fans can make to boast about their team, they'll do it.
Yeah, well, kind of deserving. They've had quite a bit of success over the course of my life,
Right.
but yeah, yeah, the Warriors just kind of fell apart. I didn't expect that. I really thought that Steph and Clay were going to turn it up a little bit in that series,
Clay
and they
was
just
completely absent. He didn't even
yeah,
show up.
yeah,
That's
and then their presence down low just wasn't really there, which kind of concerns me. I don't
no,
know.
they
I
had
guess
no answer for AD whatsoever.
yeah. I mean, how do you
Outside of
think
one.
Jokic is going to do? Let's talk about that series first. How do you think Jokic is going to do against AD?
I think that's a really intriguing matchup. I think that they both play the game differently, but Jokic seems to adapt to the game different ways where he can kind of feel out how he's being guarded, how the switches are taking place, gets into the flow of the game really nicely, regardless of tempo, regardless of matchups. Like he's like a quarterback out there. He's not necessarily like a center for basketball or power forward for basketball. He's like a football quarterback in my eyes, where he's surveying the whole court and making reads on cuts, making reads on switches, making passes that should never get made sometimes, but
Yeah,
he finds a way to make it happen. He's directing his guys feed off of him. Jamal Murray's been playing lights out. He took over that Phoenix series in ways that I've wanted to see from him for a bit now. So he gets his guys going. I think that he's obviously the motor that keeps the Nuggets running, whereas AD is AD. He does things that he does well, really, really well. But if you take him out of his game, I don't see him adapting the same way that Jokic can adapt to the flow of a game.
yeah.
I'm excited to watch the matchup. I think it's going to be a really good series. I think that matchup in particular at center is going to be one that we talk about for a while when it's all said and done. I know we talked about it before the playoffs got started, and you wanted Denver initially, and I was like, no, I don't think so. They're a regular season team, but the more I watch them in the playoffs, the more I'm on board with your take as them coming out of the West, and I like them to beat the Lakers actually in 6.
Hey, they're just fundamental good basketball. They
They're
got some.
fundamental. They're deep. They're well coached. They've got everything going for them right now. So
Did I ever send you that picture shoot? I don't know his name. I don't know the Denver coach's name or the guy from The Office. I'll probably cut this part, but
Mike Malone.
yeah, Mike Malone looks a lot like this one dude from The Office that like worked in the warehouse.
Oh yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're talking about. I don't know his name though.
I'll
Bob
patch in a
Vance.
picture.
Bob Vance.
Definitely not Bob Vance. Vance
Not Bob Vance.
Refrigeration.
Bob Vance. Vance Refrigeration. Okay, I don't know his name, but
No, I don't either. Let's throw that reference away. All right. Moving on to the other coast, East Coast, least coast. That's what I always say.
Well, who do you like in the West though? You like the Nuggets? You like the Lakers?
I mean, I've been riding with the Nuggets since day one of this season. They've always been my title pick. Yeah, I mean number one seed for a reason. They've been playing like it. They took out the Suns, no problem.
Really, no
Made that
problem at
series,
all.
yeah, made that series a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And here we are. I'm rolling with the Nuggets. I have to. I have to.
Do we need to talk about Monty Williams getting dismissed?
Sure. Did you think that he deserved that?
Well, at the rate that the NBA is firing legit coaches right now, probably. But if you look at it from a different lens, where he took a team that was struggling for a while and had, what do you have, like a 670 win percentage over the course of 4 years? Like,
That's pretty good for Phoenix.
pretty damn good. So I guess it depends what lens you're looking at it. But I would say no. He's a great coach, great guy. He'll get hired somewhere else. But the owner that came into Phoenix, he wanted to shake shit up. So
Yeah.
he did. Yeah, and that's what he's doing.
Didn't his wife die a couple years ago?
Who?
Monty Williams.
Oh, I don't know.
I believe she did, and that was not to bring down the mood here. The Bucks coach,
Budenholzer,
Hosen.
Rowan
Yeah,
Gardner, Rosenbagger.
he got fired too.
He did. He won a title 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Like,
Yeah, that's insane. Why did he get fired? For losing to the Heat? The Heat underperformed all year, and you knew they were going to come out swinging in the playoffs. They're like Michigan State.
yeah, exactly. Can't count him out.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
going
that
around.
was a confusing one. I mean,
Guys are
who are the Bucks going to get? I mean, I guess Monty Williams maybe
yeah,
do a
Nick
nice
Nurse.
little coach swap. Who'd
Yeah,
you say?
Nick Nurse,
Who's Nick
also
Nurse?
also fired by Toronto. Toronto, former head coach of the
Oh
Raptors.
yeah, they're just gonna trade around
Three-way, just
good
three-way trade.
coaches. Yeah, yeah, cash considerations.
Yeah,
That
I think
seems like
Chris
a good
Paul
plan.
should go into coaching. I think he make a good coach. He should just hang it up and just coach.
What's Jim Boylan up to?
Dead. Yeah, get Jim Boylan out there. Get
Just
Hoiberg. Get a whole staff going. Benito Del Negro. Get Scott Skiles. Get them all out there. They're
I tell
ready.
you what, jokes aside, Jim Boylan had him playing well for the level of talent that was on that team in the last half of his last season.
Yeah, what was it, like 16 games or something at the end there?
Yeah, he had Ryan Arcidiacono humming. He had Shaq Harrison humming. Chandler Hutchison came back from an injury, and he was playing all right.
I like Chad Hutchison. Whatever happened to him?
Um, I don't think anybody signed him.
Just faded into obscurity, huh?
Yeah, good old the pride of Boise State.
Yeah.
And then Shaq Harrison, he got signed by somebody like last year, and I was very surprised to see that.
Not Chad.
Arcidiacono's still bouncing around the league.
Yeah, he's on Washington, I think, right now, right?
I don't know. I just know he's bouncing around. Wherever he is, he's not getting any playing time.
No, he's not. Chandler Hutchison, not Chad. Chad Hutchison was the quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback. I was going to correct you, and then I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Don't interrupt the flow of the game.
Chandler. Could he be anymore?
Was that a Friends reference?
Yeah, Chandler Bing.
Never watched it. Never sat down and watched a single episode.
Oh wow, missed out, man. That was a great.
I did. Run. I can't go back and watch it now. It's just I missed that.
No, yeah, don't. Yeah,
that's all
right. It's like if you're in your late 30s, early 40s, and you haven't watched Friends, there's no need to go revisit it. It's like cocaine. If you didn't do cocaine by now, don't go back.
You missed it. You missed it.
You just missed it. Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. But first, a word from our sponsor. And we're back.
All right.
Big time spot. A shout out to our sponsors. We really appreciate their support. So if you feel like sponsoring us, give us a shout out. Shout out in the comments. We take any and all sponsors. And
we will plug you so much. You'll get so many plugs. Really natural plugs.
Okay. Remember Joe Buck almost died from hair plugs?
Hair plug. Oh yeah. My favorite hair
Can you imagine
Tobias getting the hair plugs on.
Oh yeah, and they're like bleeding.
He's dying. He's literally dying. He's like, no. Plugs.
Like he just has to just get rid of the hair plugs and he'd be fine, but he just
That's
won't do
it.
it.
Yeah, it's elective surgery. Not even surgery.
Yeah. Good old Toby. Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris. Wait,
Wait a sec.
Tobias Harris.
Speaking of
Tobias.
Philadelphia, how about that game 7?
Wow.
What are they? A couple of chickens out there? Because they laid an egg in that second half.
Oof, 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 oof. You know, game 7 is where the MVP is supposed to take over a game, show why he's the MVP, show why his team, show how he can put his team on the back and take him to the promised land. And that did not happen.
I mean, it's not even like game 7 of the finals. It's not even the Eastern Conference Finals. It's second round. Like that's where you like tune up your I'm going to take over a game 7 in an actual important game, like a finals type of game. And he just completely
nothing resembling that.
Yeah.
Completely
I think we should take back his trophy.
I agree. He should have just given it to Jason Tatum after the game because Tatum looked like a real MVP out there. He was dominating that game. Scoring had like 30-some points in the first half. Like he put the Celtics on his back and said, "You know what? We're winning this game. I don't give a fuck. We're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Y'all get on. Y'all get on because I'm taking us there." And
all aboard.
He made it happen. Embiid was ass.
Yeah.
He looked really slow. Like he looks like he's in a full body cast out there, just
I think that every single time I watch him. He just seems like a sluggish player, but it works.
It totally works, but it didn't work yesterday, and it didn't really work much for most of the series against Boston.
Yeah. So the Sixers are out. It's down to the play-in Heat, who almost lost to the Bulls.
Unreal, right?
They almost lost. The Bulls would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's insane to think about.
Yeah, exactly.
But we were so close to that reality happening. And can you imagine how different our lives would be right now if the Bulls were in the Eastern Conference Finals?
The tone of this podcast would be so different. Wow.
The amount of optimism that I would be carrying throughout every single day.
I'd just be talking shit to anybody wearing anything but Bulls gear at this point.
Yeah, I'd be wearing my jersey every single day to work.
Absolutely.
It's like, what's 100%. Up? What's up? Bulls are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Nothing matters.
We got to say about that.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we live in this scenario. We live in the reality where the Heat and the Celtics are there. So
I wanted to make a quick note about the MVP and the Eastern Conference Final, or the conference finals in general. Did you know this is the first time? This is the first MVP ever to not play in the conference finals.
No, that's not true.
Ever.
That's true. No, Jokic has like never made it.
He was in the conference finals.
No, he got swept, or I think swept in the second round like 2 years ago.
He played in the first MVP to not play in the conference finals. Like Jokic has played in the conference finals before.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
May not have done it.
Embiid has never done it.
Right. Jokic may not have done it every year, but he's been to a conference finals.
It's hard in a 5-person team sport where the most valuable player doesn't go to the conference finals ever.
You think?
How could you be the most valuable?
It's time for us to really redefine value and make sure that who's voting for it calculates something that shows an objective measure for valuable.
Yeah, I think that the NBA does a good job of not just giving it to the best player on the best team. They do a pretty good job of that. Where, football, the Heisman and the NFL MVP is just best quarterback, best team. And that's kind of what it boiled down to. MLB does a pretty good job of it as well. But, MLB is such a weird sport to find an MVP that it makes sense.
They give the best numbers guy in MLB.
Yeah.
Like Trout's won MVPs where his team has been complete trash. So
take it easy. Okay. Those are my boys.
All right, Anaheim.
Los Angeles of Anaheim.
Oh, right.
Now that I live here, I realize how stupid that is.
The Angels, Los Angeles Angels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Angels of Anaheim. Yeah, that's also stupid.
Yeah.
Is I didn't even put that one together. But yeah. What was I saying? I was talking about MVPs and how, yeah, it's not always the best player, but like there's only 5 guys on the court. So the MVP should be the most valuable player. He should be able to take over a game. He should be able to,
At any given time, right? Yeah. Agreed.
and yeah, Embiid
Embiid
has,
did
you know,
not.
shit the bed over and over. And here we are, Heat Celtics. You ready to talk
Man,
about him now?
yeah. As much as it pains me to root for Jimmy buckets, I can't see myself rooting for the Celtics at this point. I never liked the Celtics. Um,
Yeah, I just don't care for him. It's not that I don't
yeah,
like them. It's not like a root against him. I just don't care for him.
I just never liked them. Yeah, I don't know. So I can't see myself rooting for the Celtics. But I also, I'm still salty about Jimmy Butler leaving Bulls. I know it's not his fault. He didn't do anything malicious or anything like that. It's just watching a successful ex-Bull. It's painful, man. It is
Yeah.
painful to watch. Like you could have been doing that here, and he's doing
Yeah.
it there. They built the team around him there. He's had great success. He's been in the playoffs every year. He's been to the finals. He's been to the conference finals now. Like he's a legit, playoff performer who can take a team deep into the playoffs year after year.
Yeah. I mean, it's like watching your ex um get like super hot and marry somebody that's way better looking than you, and getting promotions at her job and having kids and like a really beautiful family, and you're just like sitting there getting drunk every night on Miller Lights, and it's like, wait a second, why did I break up with her? What happened here?
Jimmy, come back.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about that. But hey, you got to look at the bright side. We got a shiny Zach LaVine out of it. We got a very beautiful Lowry Markkinen and his years of service, and I think maybe 2 years of Chris Dunn. I mean, come
Yeah,
on,
done. I forgot
the
about
pride of
Chris.
Providence right there.
Yeah. Well,
I remember
6
watching
miles
Chris
point
Dunn,
guard.
and every single time he would shoot a three, I'd say he's gonna miss it. I think he shot maybe
Oh, he was awful from three.
like
Oh my
10%,
God.
but he would always shoot them.
Funny thing about that is Chris Dunn is he was like a throw into that trade, and I was like, yeah, what a great throw in. He's really good. He's a big guard. He can play ball.
Great at defense.
Got here and did jack shit.
Yeah. Chris Dunn.
And
What's
and
he
then
up to?
Markkinen left. So basically, it was a 1-for-1 trade. Butler for Zach LaVine.
And I'd say that we didn't. Well, then again, Minnesota didn't keep him.
Right.
And then he went to the Sixers. They didn't keep him.
They didn't keep
So it's
me
not
either,
like the
yeah.
Bulls did wrong there.
Yeah, it's a tough trade to really fully evaluate because like you said, Butler's been bounced around from team to team. Now he's in Miami, so
And
it's
boy,
not
is
a
he
good
happy
trade.
and flourishing there.
Yeah, we didn't trade Zach for Jimmy straight up to Miami. We traded in Minnesota and got a few dudes, and
A few guys that were worth taking chances on.
yeah,
One of them has panned out.
he's borderline panned out. Yeah,
I mean, 2-time All-Star.
one playoff win, one playoff
Oh, yeah,
appearance.
I'm with you, man, but it's a 5-person sport. Lowry didn't live up to his end of the bargain. Wendell Carter Jr. didn't live up to his end of the bargain.
So is that the players' fault though? Is that the culture and the environment's fault?
Players.
Really?
Coaches coach, players play.
It seems too consistent across the board that all these guys come to Chicago and suck and then go other places and flourish.
Maybe it's the weather. I don't know, man. It's getting tough to make excuses at this point, but I'll keep trying.
I mean, it's sunny in South Beach all year. Yeah, that makes sense that he would do well there.
Yeah, he seems happy.
Good for him. Okay, I wish him well then. I take back all the bad things I said about Jimmy. I wish him well.
I just hope things work out for him.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever.
Send him a drunk email at like 2 a.m. Hey, I just wanted to apologize for everything. All right, Dad. I just really hope everything works out for you. I mean, whomst amongst us hasn't been there? So,
Right.
You like
So
the Heat?
Heat Nuggets. So we're pulling for Heat Nuggets on the Rev and Bone show. We've officially endorsed Heat Nuggets.
Yeah, you got speaking of Nuggets, Saturday night, me and Leah and her friend Nina, we went to Leah's dad's concert. Anyways,
Wait, well,
point
I'm
being,
sorry. I'm gonna have to stop you real quick. Leah
what?
and Nina. Leah and Nina.
Hmm.
Leah and Nina. Nina and Leah.
Yes,
It's just a cute combo of names together.
thank you. And Kevin. Um,
It's a scheme.
anyways, we went to McDonald's because it was right next door after the concert, and we got the 40 pack of nuggets. It was a
Yes.
40 pack of nuggets with 2 extra large fries for like
Yeah.
$18. Talk about a
That's not bad.
screaming deal.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I did the math on it the next day and I ate 18.
You ate 18 nuggies?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty good.
Nice. So they took 11 each then?
Yeah. I pulled my weight. I'll put it that way.
Not bad.
Yeah. So shout out to the Nuggets.
Yeah, I had a 9-piece for lunch today, or a 10-piece for lunch today.
I was gonna say, how'd you do a 9-piece?
I used to do the 9-piece. Those are no longer existing, but I did the 10-piece meal for lunch. A little cheeseburger on the side.
Oh.
Mickey D's, man.
Oh, it rules.
Best fast food ever.
It really is. As far as garbage fast food goes,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if we were to rank the tiers, I mean, it definitely falls into the bottom tier, but it's definitely the top of that bottom tier. And then like Culver's, In and Out, that's a different tier.
See, that's where we're going to disagree because I think In and Out is trash.
Okay, but you do recognize that it falls into a different tier?
Yeah, the trash tier.
You really think it's trash? Is this just a hot take?
No, I really feel like it's not good. It's the most overrated food establishment in the United States.
Okay, I'm not saying overrated though, because yeah, people overhype it.
Yeah,
but it
it's
is.
overhyped and it's not good.
You know what? You're entitled to your opinions. I'm entitled to mine.
Cool.
I'd say that history is going to be on my side on this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm glad that you can live with that.
I'm okay to be wrong if you feel like I'm wrong, but those fries,
The fries leave a little to be desired.
not cutting it, man.
Yeah. Well, the problem is they cut them fresh and they don't soak them to get rid of that starch. They cut them fresh to go straight into the fryers. They're pretty starchy. They don't hold well, especially when they get cold.
Right.
Burgers are great though.
See, the burgers are just okay. We're gonna have to do a whole show on fast food because
Yeah, the fast food episode coming soon.
Oh hell yeah, fast food episode.
Yeah.
Drop
I
us
don't
a
know.
line in the comments section on In and Out for now, and we'll get to all the fast food in the country at a later date. But hit us in the comments, all you non-West Coasters on In and Out.
Yeah. Heat Nuggets.
Heat Nuggets. Let's go.
Heat Nuggets. Nuggets in 5.
I love it.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on.
Let's go.
All right. So after NBA playoff time, it's time to talk about the NFL draft and just what stuck out to us, what we've really come to the conclusion on, what we really think about our teams, what we think about other teams. You know how discussions go. Just a well-rounded discussion. So start the timer now. What do you think?
I'm going to come right out and say it. Bryce Young is going to be a bust.
Whoa.
Hey. Woo.
No, he's not.
Hey, I'm calling it now.
Why do you think that?
I think that he is just not built for the NFL. I know that the argument's been made, like he's little, he's small, this and that. Things have been blown out of proportion, whatever. I saw him at Panthers practice running drills.
No bueno?
Doesn't look good.
I mean, it's his first practice in the NFL. You can't expect him to be throwing dimes out there.
Just looks so tiny, like
it'd be hard to find him.
Infinitely smaller than anyone on the field. It's just really weird to see. I knew he was small. He looked
He's like
small in
5'10". That's
college.
not that small.
It's small for an NFL quarterback. You got to command. You've got to command the locker room. You've got to command your team. You've got to be the leader.
No, Bryce
Everyone's
Young has a
looking.
strong personality. He's going to command
Everyone's
that
looking
locker room,
down
no
at you
problem.
though. Physically, they're looking down at you. Like, come on,
I mean, that's the
that's
case with most quarterback lineman
not gonna
situations. I
work.
mean, I think it's going to work just fine. But also, it would work out really well for the Bears if it didn't work out, and then they
Yeah,
get the #1 pick next year.
exactly. Which is what I'm secretly hoping for. But I also don't. I don't think he's gonna have a sustained NFL career. I don't think he's got. I just the eye test for me. That's simply what I'm basing it on. Is that, and I don't. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't. I don't think. I don't think he's got what it takes.
Okay, I'm not trying to gatekeep here, but did you watch a lot of Alabama football?
I watched enough.
I don't believe that.
I watched
I don't
enough Alabama.
believe. I don't believe that for a second. This guy knows how to read the field. He knows how to find the open guy. I think.
College field.
Well, yeah, it's the same dimensions.
Yeah, it's different schemes though.
Yeah, well, hey, coaches coach, players play. That's what I always say.
Hey, yeah. Well, we'll see. Let's
When you
revisit. We'll revisit in 10 years and see who's correct.
all right.
My guy in the NFL draft is Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to dominate the NFL. He's going to come out swinging in Indianapolis. They've been thirsty for a quarterback forever. He's got tools that Bryce Young wished he had.
He's an easy guy to root for. I'll put it that way. But I don't, man, him in college was so bad. It was not good at all. He left so much to be desired. So it's very difficult, very, very difficult to think that he's going to be anything better than not good.
So you think that the brass in Indianapolis got a bad read on him or something? And they took him at 4?
Yes, I mean, of course, yeah. But obviously, I know next to nothing. But what'd you say?
They're professional scouts.
Yeah, of course. They know a lot more than me. I'm a friggin' schmuck over here. But I watched enough Florida games that I just didn't think he was very good. And here he is being drafted #4. Physical tools, that only goes so far. So I don't know. I would really like to see him do well. I really would. But I don't necessarily see it. He seems like a good kid. He cleaned up all the dishes at Colts practice the other day. That was a big story. So you like to hear those nice little puff pieces being thrown out there around.
Cute little heart warmers.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky driving his old Nissan or whatever it was all the way across the country. Like, hey, you gotta appreciate that. The rookie quarterback coming in there, taking one for the team there. So I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. I got wait, did I? No, it's right here. I'm sorry. CJ Stroud, I think he'll be fine. I think he's going to be a quarterback that they're going to have he's going to be Daniel Jones part 2. I know they don't look the same, but yeah, I think CJ Stroud, I think Daniel Jones is my comp for him. He's lanky. He's got a good arm. Is he going to find the open guy? As far as like Justin Fields struggled with this a lot, like throwing guys open, seeing NFL windows, that type of thing. I don't know, because Ohio State has some of the best wide receivers in college.
Yeah, they did for sure last year. Who do you think got the better system that they've fallen into, Stroud or Bryce Young?
Wait, who's Carolina's coach?
We're talking about the 1 and 2 draft picks, so they're the 2 worst teams, outside the Bears. But when you get drafted, Houston, you're falling into a bad situation.
Just does not have a lot of talent. Houston is in a rough spot. And then they traded next year's first-round pick. Maybe not the best move, but they got Will Anderson and their quarterback of the future. So you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too mad about that. You can find wide receivers in free agency. There's wide receivers are pretty dime a dozen as far as those middle tier guys go. So I don't know. Houston, I think there's going to be lower expectations in Houston. Carolina is a situation where
expectations.
Yeah, exactly. Carolina is a situation where they can win the division with any competent quarterback play because that division is just garbage. Tennessee has no idea what they're doing. They drafted a quarterback in back-to-back years now with Will Levis and that guy at Liberty. I don't even remember his name. He's going to be out of the league in a couple of years, so it doesn't matter. And they still have Tannehill. So Tannehill's got to be like, what the fuck, guys? But
Twice.
yeah, twice in a row. But Derrick Henry, he should put that team on his back. And then Indianapolis, they're a big question mark with Anthony Richardson. Oh, wait a second. I'm switching divisions, aren't I?
Yes, I was wondering there. You went from Carolina, the NFC South to the AFC South.
My bad. Both just garbage divisions. Who's in the AFC South that's any good?
I like
Not Houston. Yeah, Jacksonville. Yeah. They should run away with it.
Yeah.
NFC South, Tampa Bay has got Baker Mayfield at quarterback.
It would appear so. Tampa Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, that leaves a little to be desired there. The Saints have Derek Carr, leaves a little to be desired there. Derek Carr is just Baker Mayfield, who's gotten a longer leash. Atlanta, they trotting out Ritter. I don't even remember his first name.
He should come out as a starter. Desmond Ritter. Yeah, he should be the starter.
Desmond. I was going to say Malcolm. Maybe John Ritter.
Johnny Ritter.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Man, Three's Company.
Yeah.
Problem Child. Classic.
Oh shoot, he was on a TV show like 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Daughter or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And he died like in the first season. It was very emotional. Very emotional episode after that, but quality show. Who's the fourth team? Who's the fourth team in that division?
Panthers, Falcons, Bucks, Saints.
No, covered them. Yeah. So that being said, Carolina, I mean, that division is as wide open as possible, and Bryce Young is going to have all the opportunities in the world.
You can win 6 games and win the division.
Yeah. So
realistically,
I think CJ Stroud will have a lot less pressure on him. He's not a very loud personality. I think he's just going to go down there, cut his teeth, maybe struggle for 2 years, and he'll be fine. He's going to be a fine quarterback. Bryce Young, he's a much more boomer bust. Anthony Richardson is the epitome of boomer bust.
What?
Anthony Richardson? I thought you said you just liked him.
No, I said.
Got you on that one.
Got me.
I really liked what Seattle did in the draft with Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois, the cornerback. He looks like a stud, and then they got Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I. Yeah. Exactly.
The problem, though, is that they still have Geno Smith at quarterback, and that's not really somebody that you can build around long term. You know, they gave him a good contract. I don't know.
Yeah, he earned it. Had a good year, had a good run there, and
if you're a Seattle fan, you're not getting the juices completely flowing for him.
Yeah, no, he's on the decline for sure.
Yeah,
it might just be a fluke year, even. Who knows?
Yeah. What do you think about the Bears passing on Jalen Carter?
My initial knee-jerk reaction was disappointment. I thought that if he slipped and fell to 9, that the Bears should have taken him. Leading up to the draft, that was a slam dunk pick. He was, a top 3 talent-wise pick heading into the draft up until any of the, legal things came into play, and him showing up to the combine overweight and not finishing drills. Prior to that, he was a consensus top 3 pick, right?
Yeah, so often said as the number 1 pick.
Yeah, so if I had the opportunity to take him at 9, I felt like that was a slam dunk pick. But that being said, once I digested it, once we took the last couple of weeks to really analyze what the draft represented for the Bears and what Darnell Wright represents for the Bears as a pick, I think that shows that they're building around Fields, that they're investing in the offense. They're drafting a guy who didn't give up a sack last year from right tackle.
That's remarkable.
Like, that's insane. Against SEC level defenses, he did not allow a sack. Like, that's fucking crazy. So the more I think about it, the more I think that's the right pick. I think that Carter fell into a great system in Philly with a teammate, with a veteran group of guys. If he comes into the Bears system with the defense that we had, he's not set up for success within our
No.
system. Darnell Wright's a character dude. He's a hell of a fucking right tackle. He's going to be a leader, and Carter could very well go on to have a great career in the NFL, but I don't think he would have had. I don't think he's going to be set up for success in Chicago the way that he is set up for success in Philly.
Well, it's not a one-to-one comparison by any means, but that's kind of how I felt about Patrick Mahomes, and this is what I use as my justification for why I don't feel miserable about the Bears drafting Trubisky over Mahomes, is because he was never going to become Patrick Mahomes in Chicago. So,
yeah, I mean that's probably true.
it's a tough pill to swallow, but he would have been Jay Cutler, but worse.
It wouldn't have been so bad if we just passed on Mahomes and drafted Trubisky, but to trade up to also take it, that was what really was like the dagger getting twisted a little bit in that draft. It was like, not only did you pass on him, but you traded up to get to Trubisky, who did he even, what did he start a year at North Carolina? Powerhouse football school, North Carolina? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Counterpoint, Darnell Wright started 1 year at Tennessee.
Tennessee's a powerhouse SEC school. They beat Alabama. They beat good teams last year. Like, they're
True.
a solid football school. North Carolina's not a football school.
I think they went to the Belk Bowl.
Oh, the Belk Bowl.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the Belk Bowl. Oh, I'm so sorry. I take back everything I said about Mitch because of the Belk Bowl.
I remember pumping myself up watching a YouTube video about Mitch where they were like, he actually had 4 touchdown passes on this drive, and it was like 4 passes that like could have been touchdowns, but the receiver dropped them or whatever it was, and it was like, oh my God, this guy. It's like, yeah, every quarterback has those situations where the receiver drops it, he overthrows him by a little bit.
Oh, bro, I still come back to that game against the Saints. We were talking about that playoff game, not last year, but the year before, where they threw the flea flicker and Trubisky puts it on him in the end zone.
It was the best pass of his career.
It was right.
It really was
the best pass of his career, right through the breadbasket, and that was a tide turner right there.
Javon Wims. You want to talk about a high-level SEC football player right there? He had a big touchdown catch in the Rose Bowl against Oklahoma.
Yeah, that drop is not talked about enough. Is he the same guy that punched dude in the face that same game?
What I don't think it was the next year.
It
was when the wheels really fell off. Yeah.
He just really talk about self-sabotage.
Yeah, he really let it rip.
Man.
I always liked Javon Wims. I thought that he had potential. Well, I liked him until that Saints playoff game. But we're not here to talk about Javon Wims.
No, not at all.
Every single mock draft, I would only read to about when the Bears were picking, and then I just didn't read any further because I'm like, okay, well, that's all. They're not going to trade that far back. And so Darnell Wright was mocked at 16, 17 most of the time. So I didn't even know the guy's name. And then when they drafted him, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? What are you doing, Ryan Poles? What the fuck? And so that was my initial reaction. So that's why I'm glad I didn't hop on the pod there. But Darnell Wright, he seems like a good dude. Right tackle at 10. It's not the most exciting pick. It's not something that I'm going to tell my grandkids about. But yeah, that's fine.
But you had the greatest comparison. When we talked about it the day after the draft, and we're talking about teams getting new shiny toys for Christmas, and us getting socks.
Yeah, we need them.
You need socks.
Our socks were in such rough shape. They had holes all throughout. They were all mixed mashed. It just bad socks. But it's like, man, I don't want these.
Right. That's not. I didn't put these on my list. This was not on my wish list for Christmas or my birthday or whatever. But God damn, you're right. I do need these socks.
I need them.
These socks are going to come in handy.
Thank you, Dad, for the socks. Yeah. I'm really happy. Thank you.
Tell your father thank you for the socks. Thanks, Dad, for the socks.
Thanks, Dad.
But when winter rolls around, you're rolling up them socks and your feet are nice and toasty. In that
your quarterback isn't getting sacked, and you're like,
Yeah,
right, maybe
these socks, man. Good call. Good call on the socks.
maybe it wasn't such a stupid decision.
These
Speaking of
new
stupid decisions, I will say their second round pick. Who's
Who, the
their
Bears?
yeah? Oh, Gervon Dexter. Did you
Yeah,
watch any of the highlights of this guy?
yeah.
What a freaking schmuck. This guy is gonna
Lowlight, as I can
suck.
call them.
They're about a minute long, and they all just consist of this guy taking 15 minutes to get off the ball, standing
He's
straight up.
a little slow off the ball. I'll give you that.
And the
He's a
only
specialist,
tackles
though.
he made were when they ran right into his belly.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
It's not exciting either, but they needed defensive lineman, and he's a defensive lineman, so
He's there.
he's there.
So,
The body.
we'll see. We'll see. I really like the
A
Roshan
guy we
Johnson.
passed on though. I would have liked to see that. Oh no, we didn't pass on him. I think we just missed on him. Never mind. I was gonna say Charbonnet from UCLA. I think he
Oh,
went
yeah, he was.
right before ours. I like him. I like him a lot.
I liked him a lot. Yeah. I was also bummed we didn't get Doriel Robinson Thompson out of UCLA, their quarterback. I think he would have been a great backup for Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Justin
Fields.
Fields.
We got Moore, or not Moore.
Yeah, the Panthers XFL quarterback.
Walker.
Yeah, PJ Walker.
PJ Walker, DJ Moore, PJ Walker. Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of J's, a lot of things that rhyme with
Panthers on the team. We got him. We got Moore at wide receiver. We got Deontay Foreman at running back. We got a bunch of ex Panthers running around the field now.
Wow,
It's ex Panther.
Nice.
Didn't we
They're
get
really,
like?
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
They're really hyping up Tyler Scott a lot, the guy from Cincinnati. They're saying that he was like the steal of the draft. I don't.
Yeah,
He seems a little undersized.
Heard a lot of good things about that.
Hey, he's one we'll see on.
One thing I wanted to double back on with Darnell Wright. Did you hear Louis Riddick talking about Darnell Wright?
No.
So Louis Riddick, obviously respected football.
I think he's a big time Bears fan. I think he just loves the Bears.
I think he might be a closet Bears fan.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, the national broadcasters, we need some Bears fans out there because there's a lot of Bears hatred out there.
Yeah, we got the guy from Good Morning Football. He's a Bears fan.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Big time. I don't know. Not Peter Schrager, the other guy.
Oh, the other guy. Anyway, Louis Riddick
the good-looking guy, the hunk of the show.
The hunky hunk. The hunk of burning love. Louis Riddick was saying that Darnell Wright, when it's all said and done, is going to be the best player in the draft, period.
No, reporters just say stuff like that to get clicks from the one fan base that they want to appease to. Like you type in any draft pick, and they're going to be like steal of the draft. Because
that's fine. Steal of the draft is different than best player of the draft, though.
Well, I'd say if you're drafting him 10 and he's the best in the draft, that's a steal. Got you there.
I don't know. Not necessarily. You've got teams drafting at need, so players slip at positions.
No, you got to do best player available. That's how you draft right there.
No, it's not. Not necessarily.
That's how I draft.
If teams need a quarterback, they're going to draft a quarterback regardless if there's a better defensive lineman available. Like, sure, the Texans got to draft 2 and 3, so they got to draft both a defender and a quarterback. But the team needs a quarterback, or they need a certain position, they're going to draft that position. So it doesn't always mean that the best player available gets drafted.
No, I'm just saying that should be your draft strategy. I mean, listen, as a draft expert myself, first place in our fantasy baseball league, I just drafted best player available. Doesn't matter position. We're going to find a way to make it work. And it's working out.
First place in the fantasy baseball league where literally no one is setting lineups.
Literally nobody except me.
Caveat, I am setting the lineups and I'm winning.
Yeah, I still don't know how the scoring works. I don't know.
No one does.
I don't know a lot about it, but I'm learning as I go, and I'm very successful. So,
yeah.
Speaking of success,
hey,
is it time to move on to Succession?
Succession.
Hit me with that intro music.
Dun, dun,
Election night. America decides.
Does America decide, or does the media conglomerate decide? That's what we want to know.
Well, I mean, I'm not. There is a lot of one-to-one comparisons in here, and it's tough to not get political when you talk about this episode of Succession because it's
Uh-huh.
it's so easy to compare it to real life, and you do have to think like the media gets who they want in there. I mean, to some degree. I mean, anybody that isn't going to draw eyes and attention to them, they're not going to shove in front of your face. So
Yeah,
it's never really going to be the best guy for the country. It's going to be who the 2-horse race that gets the best numbers.
it gets those ratings. Yeah, I mean, we saw Connor get shoved to the side as the third party candidate, just the same way that the third party candidate gets shoved to the side in real life elections. Like they're not even on stage talking during the debates.
Yeah. Yeah, because they want them to forget about this guy. And really Connor Roy it's a comical example of it.
Yeah, yeah, it was a nice satire for sure.
But yeah, it was kind of a sad episode in that sense where it's like it really just hammered home that like our vote doesn't count. It doesn't.
Right, right, exactly.
So
It's not, yeah, it's not an actual election. It's you know, it's the illusion of choice. I think that George Carlin summed that up the best in some of his stand up throughout the years of like the illusion of choice where it's Burger King or McDonald's, it's Coke or Pepsi, it's red or blue, it's left or right. And that's easy for, the average American to digest, choosing one
yeah,
or the other, where that life is not that black and white. It's not that one or the other. There's much gray area in there to decide from, and you don't get
there's so
that
much
choice.
nuance to every single thing, and I mean, by painting it black and white, red or blue, whatever, it makes it difficult for me to want to be a participant in.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, Succession, here we are. Succession episode, what was this, 8 in the
Mm-hmm.
books?
Yeah.
Pretty cool episode.
Yeah, I thought it was a great episode. The last two episodes, I don't think we talked about the previous one either, with our brief hiatus. So the last two episodes really brought a lot of action to the show. A lot of things that have been brewing have come to the surface, and the biggest thing I liked about it was Roman's sort of evolution into decision maker, action taker, like just not giving a shit what anyone else says, really embodying Logan in a lot of ways, his dad, like him just doing a lot of things that Logan would have done in the same position. So
Absolutely. And that's actually go ahead.
Yeah, for that reason, I've always liked Roman as the not necessarily an underdog to take over everything, but he's been my click to pick. I pick to click
Nice.
to take over eventually, and I think that he's sort of evolved into that role over the last two episodes mainly, but kind of slowly building towards that throughout the season of the show. So, even when he's making decisions, Kendall's deferring to him. He's like, "You think that's a good idea? All right, let's do it. You think firing him is good? All right, cool. Fire him all. Who are you gonna fire next? You gonna fire me? Like, he's getting fired up.
He's seeing that. He's seeing that Kendall is just like a kind of a yes man to him, like
a pussy,
basically. And then this episode is really where it came to head, where everyone was just like, "Well, what do we do?" And Roman's like, "Yeah, this is what we're gonna do." And Kendall just went into his turtle shell and didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, Roman saw his chance to pounce and he pounced all over it.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm running the show.
Yeah, he's channeling his father, and he's coming into his own as a leader. I think that's
you're gonna try and stop me, do it. And nobody did.
No.
Shiv tried her best, but she also she's planted her flag on the wrong hill,
She really
and she got completely burned by it this episode.
yeah.
Well, and also I think that everyone sees through the facade of like she cares about the republic of the country, and you know the safety of people, and you know the like she doesn't. She's in the same boat that everyone else is.
I don't know. I think that at her core, she might care about it deep down, but also deep down, she cares about herself
Yeah.
and her own, self-fulfilling prophecy or whatever she might be going for. She's going to go after it, but I don't think she has the wherewithal to fully understand the dynamics of the system that she's currently participating in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's never shown any inkling of like caring about the American people on just like
No.
a human level. So yeah, I do think that this was her just going one on one against her brother, Roman, and I think that she fell on her face.
Yeah, yeah. When she tried to pretend like she made that phone call over to was it Jimenez
Nate,
or was it Nate? Nate.
Nate
Yeah, yeah.
Dogg.
Yeah. And as soon as Kendall's like, oh, I'll call him, that's when us as the viewer knew, oh, Shiv is fucked here.
She's toast.
And then
And really, I mean, I feel like the main reason why she was so against Mencken was because like she knew that he would block the deal, and then Kendall and Roman would take over,
right.
and that's not the horse that she bet on.
Right.
So
right. And the episode ended with her talking to what's the Swedish guy's name?
what is his name? You know, I was trying to avoid saying it. This is not a good demonstration of us loving the show.
Anyway,
This is Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah, but what's his name on the show? God damn it.
I want to say it starts with an M as well.
Yeah, so do I. It's Mattson.
A lot of M's.
Yeah, so it ends with her talking to Mattson about how they're going to get him real good and this and that. And I can't help but think that he's on the other line thinking, who the fuck are you? You
lost.
You screwed up again. I can't trust you.
Clearly have no control of this situation. So why would I go with you here? And Mattson also, he's got his hands with everybody. Well, I guess not so much anymore after that fight on the hill, out in the mountains there.
But Shiv is clamoring for this high-ranking position with him, and the high-ranking position with her brothers. Her brother said, trust us. We'll make it happen." And that's out the window. Her fumbling the bag with Mattson now. He's not going to trust her to give her a high-ranking position. I don't know what she's got in mind that she's going to pull off, but the show alluded to her having something in store for next episode. We're going to fuck him real good. We're going to get him this and that, blah, 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 blah. But she's proven now that she's not capable of really pulling the trigger at the right point.
Yeah, she's just grasping at straws as the last person that, at least wants to talk to her a little bit. Like everyone else is just like, get out of here, Shiv.
Yeah. She reeks of desperation. And then, the fights that she's been having with Tom, the threats that she's making against Greg, like they just seem so desperate.
Yeah, that threat against Greg. Also, what Tom said earlier in the episode about information. It's a fine wine.
Yeah.
You hold on to it, you store it, and then at the right opportunity, you use it to smash somebody's face.
Yeah.
And he did that perfectly. Like Greg's always been like, he's pretty easily bought, but you have to try.
Yeah, and Greg's a dark horse too. Like I've been reading that the show. I didn't realize the show was based off of King Lear, Shakespeare's King Lear, and in King Lear, like there's like an off kilter sort of like not laughing stock, but like
a jester of sorts.
Joke of the family kind of cousin that ends up taking over the throne. And so Greg is sort of that character if you're gonna really take a King Lear interpretation literally to the show.
Yeah.
Greg's in line to take over. I just don't see Greg taking over.
Yeah, I think that's a little too far fetched.
I think so too.
He's kind of the bumbling idiot that's lovable, but he can't like legitimately run the company. He's not really been in charge of anything without somebody right above him, whether it be Tom, whether it be Logan, whether it be anybody else.
But he
So
does have the information. He's got all the information on Tom, on Shiv, on everybody. Like he's got some ammo.
he does. He doesn't have it on Roman though. He doesn't know about the dick pics.
Was it only Logan that knew about the dick pics?
Uh, well, obviously Jerry does, but I feel like Kendall does too.
Does he?
I feel like he does. I mean, and if he doesn't, he's probably going to. I think that Kendall's going to like butter up Jerry a little bit because Kendall knows that like Roman is in prime position right now. He's got obviously the president in his back pocket.
Yeah.
President elect. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's got to kind of build up his defenses there. He's already got Frank in his corner. If he gets Greg in his corner, maybe Tom. I don't know what value Tom would throw, but Tom is, as he said, he's a loyal servant.
He's a loyal servant, that goes a long way sometimes.
It sure does. It sure does. And Tom did pretty good this episode. It was really funny. Like
he had a good episode.
At the beginning of the episode, he was like, no, guys, no, I make the decisions tonight. Like, you guys don't get to. And then at the end, when they were like, all right, we're going to call Wisconsin, he's like, it's your call. It's not mine.
Yeah. He totally just waffled back. And
yeah.
Like,
I'm not falling on the sword for this one. So question for you, and this, maybe you know more about politics than me. What is calling Wisconsin, even though it's not official, what does that actually do?
So that essentially gives the state to the candidate along with the electoral votes, right?
Right, but not officially. But it's just a news organization calling it. Is it more just optics?
When the media calls it, they essentially shut down any attempt to give it to another candidate. So if say CNN, for instance, in real life politics calls a state, the rest of the media outlets will then follow suit and say, okay, Wisconsin is going to this candidate, giving the electoral votes to the candidate.
Because they don't want to be wrong? Because they don't want to be late?
Both, yeah, exactly. That's all news is being first and being right. Like that's all news is. And if ATN calls a state as the powerhouse media outlet that they've positioned themselves as, the rest of the news outlets will do the same, regardless of any wrongdoing or voter intimidation, whatever the things that they alluded to in the episode. Like that requires litigation to undo and revote, and it's a lot of red tape and a lot of time and a lot of energy wasted, whereas just calls it and it's over. The thing about the episode where they said initially they were like, we'll call it pending, we'll do a pending call of Wisconsin. They never did that. They skipped right over that and just called it.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, Wisconsin goes to Mencken, and that's it. It's over. So those electoral votes then also go to the candidate, and in that case, I think that ended up winning the election because then it was like Arizona, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Nevada.
Arizona was the big one.
Yeah, and that's a real life situation too. That's a direct representation of what happens in real American politics. The news outlet calls the state's now spoken for. They give the electoral votes to the candidate, and then the race to 270 is on.
So they just stop. So CNN, Fox News, whatever, they say Ohio goes to George Bush.
Yeah, man. It's
and they're like, exactly, all right, well, somebody called it, so we're fine.
Yeah, it's exactly what we alluded to when we started talking about it initially, was that it's the illusion of choice, right? These voters think they're going out to the ballots and voting and casting their vote, and they've done their research. It doesn't fucking matter. If the media outlet calls it, the media wants their candidate, they're going to get the candidate they want.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it brings up, like, what if somebody like calls it completely wrong?
Well, they've got to have something to back it up.
Yeah.
Some substance to back it up,
Guys,
historically.
I'm not smart. I don't know politics. Okay, so it sound off in the comments about how wrong I am right now, but yeah, this isn't my wheelhouse, if you will. Um, but the show's doing just fine without Logan.
Yeah, the presence of Logan, right, is kind of still there, like the looming like decisions that Roman makes and Kendall's weird presentation and
I guess
the
it's only
higher
been
ups
like a
level.
week
What
since he
Logan?
died, right? In the show, like a week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the funeral is still coming up the next episode, I believe.
Yeah. It's the
The
funeral, and
next
then the
day.
last episode is like 2 hours long, I've heard.
Is it? Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that'd be nice. But yeah, there's a lot that's gonna happen in these last two episodes. The funeral,
And
I mean, what?
it's still anyone's game. Like anyone could still emerge as the victor here, which is crazy to think. There's only 2 episodes left, and we still haven't decided like who's going to take over this damn company.
Yeah. It's hard to see Shiv pulling out of this
Well,
one.
Shiv's out. Shiv is out. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've
It's
eliminated
hard to
Shiv.
see. It's hard to see a long shot like Greg or even Tom really making it out okay.
So we're making it a 2 horse race after all that. Kendall or Rome.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of is, you know. But I don't know. Let's see. Do I have any other? I don't really have any other notes, but yeah, we did skip over a couple episodes in this brief hiatus that we had. What did you think of Kendall's speech?
It was weird. It was just a weird energy about the whole thing.
Did
His
you like
his
the little Jurassic Park like, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" He's
no,
like, "Oh, hi, son."
no, it was silly. It
It was
was
weird. That
it
was
was
weird.
it was elementary in a lot of ways. I felt like for a high level corporation to roll something like that out at a TED Talk style presentation, like it just reeked of elementary level
Yeah, yeah.
theatric.
I know that a lot of people hate nepotism, and that's a completely fair thing to hate. Um, also, I'm not a fan, to clear the air there. But boy, this show really just hammers home like how much these kids like depend on their father's name
Yeah,
and how they just name drop him at every single turn.
that's all they have. Yeah, yeah,
That's all they have instead of just trying to be like, instead of saying like, you know who my dad is, just like living your life with people knowing who your dad is.
yeah. That's why we talked about it a couple episodes ago about, when Roman wanted to launch the new site and had all these fresh ideas that they were fully their own, and then they just dropped it immediately. Like they're just completely afraid to go out and do their own thing because they do depend so heavily on Logan's name and the reputation that he's built, the companies that he's pioneered. And that's really what the show boils down to, is just succession of that company. So yeah, they might have their own ideas and their own identities behind closed doors, but they're never going to be comfortable enough in their own skin and their own ideas to really fully pursue those and manifest those. So
Yeah, like the Pierce deal. That has to be dead right now, right? Like Pierce has to be sitting there like, all right, guys, thought we had a deal here.
yeah, what happened? Was
You
it like
guys haven't
10
really
billion?
called in a while. Yeah, and they just
You
disappeared
guys
on
got
that.
she should call an episode like, bitch, better have my money. You owe me $11 billion, son.
Yeah. They're just sitting there like in their California wine country home, like, where the fuck are those kids at?
Yeah, they owe us some money. We definitely inked that
Oh,
deal.
didn't we shake on that? We shook on that, right?
Yeah, we got that in
What
writing.
yeah. That's a strange
Yeah.
situation.
We haven't
So
talked about the last couple episodes.
they haven't even hinted at it.
No.
It's like
Hmm.
when a writer just like hopes that you forget about something. They change their
Yeah,
mind and they're just like,
we
all
have
right,
not
guys.
forgot.
No. So yeah, it's an interesting predicament that the kids find themselves in now. I loved the scene where Shiv got found out by Kendall
Yeah.
by way of Greg.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice scene. It really really raised the tension there.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant that they had Kendall step outside. Greg was right there, right after Shiv had threatened Greg too,
Yeah.
because it really showed the power dynamics of the show, where Shiv thought she had some power to threaten Greg, and then Greg's like, you know what? It means nothing to me. I'll let him know
Yeah.
exactly what's happening. You
Yeah.
fucked up, and now
You're
you're
not going to
gonna.
literally kill me. It's not
Yeah,
a threat. So good stuff.
yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else you got on the episode?
I did want to mention that I thought it was funny when Shiv referenced the disgusting brothers to Greg, when she's like, "Oh, you're a disgusting brother. You find me attractive?" It's like, what the fuck?
I was like doing the math in my head, like, hold on, they're cousins. This shit about to happen? Oh my
Yeah,
god!
what the
I'm
hell's
about to
going
get
on?
freaky deaky in here.
Yeah, really
Some
bizarre.
Pornhub's leaked into the real world right there. I don't know how I feel about this.
I didn't know Shiv was aware of the disgusting brothers. I thought that was just Greg and Tom's own thing. But
No, I think
her
she
knowing about
referenced it at some point when she was fighting with Tom about how she heard that he was a disgusting brother, and Tom's like, "Come on, that's not.
Oh, you're right.
I didn't mean
That's
that."
right. That's right. That's right.
So Shiv's still pregnant, and she looked very pregnant this episode. She looks
Yeah,
like she's gonna have a baby.
and she told Tom that she was pregnant. He was like, "Is that some kind of tactic?" Like,
Yeah, like what the fuck is this
totally not
bitch
believing
talking
her.
about?
After, like, I think the last episode, he came out and literally said, like, "You would be a horrible mother," or
Yeah. Yep.
and
He sure
then
said that.
yeah, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant, and it's
Yeah.
yours."
By the way, yeah,
Yeah.
gonna be a horrible mother to our baby.
Yeah, awkward, awkward,
Yeah, on
awkward.
like the most important day of Tom's life. So
Yeah, she don't give a fuck. She don't care about anybody but herself. Oh, and the
yeah,
American public, of course.
of course, yes. It's a true democratic society that,
Mm-hmm.
the
That
integrity
should
is so important.
uphold. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so good stuff there. Good stuff.
Yeah, great episodes though. I mean, it's been a great season, honestly. And for there to only be 2 episodes left, and us as viewers still not knowing what's going to happen, like, I think that's a kind of a cool dynamic for a show.
Well, they don't rely on like big explosions to make things happen. It's all just person to person
Oh,
type of drama. So in
oh yeah,
situations like that, anything can happen because all it takes is one person saying the wrong thing at one point, and
yep,
then
yep,
the whole world's flipped upside down.
yeah, it's great.
All it took was Shiv threatening Greg, and now Shiv's dead.
Pretty much, yeah.
Freaking Greg, so
Disgusting brother.
cool, man.
Let's
What do you say we wrap this thing up?
put a nice little bow on it. What do you say?
Any shout outs you want to give?
I want to give a shout out to our audience. I want to shout out everybody who's watching. Drop us some comments. Let's get keep the dialogue going on Succession, on the NFL draft, on the NBA playoffs, on maybe we missed an iconic number 9 that you want to drop in the comments and tell us how wrong we've been. So we want to keep the conversation going, not only in the show but also in the comments section. So hit us up, like and subscribe, hit us with your best comments, and we'll holla.
Cool. Yeah, I wanted to give a quick shout out to my boy Chase Sexton, Supercross champion this year. I've never seen somebody battle through as much adversity as he has this year. To give you some context, in 5 different races, he was either in the lead, going for the lead, or I guess that's it, in the lead or going for the lead, and he ended up crashing out in just devastating fashion. But he still hung around. He was the fastest rider all year. He kept his head down, kept charging, and then towards the end of the year, he was about 17 points down from Eli Tomac, the reigning champion. Eli Tomac overjumps one jump. His ankle gets bent backwards. He tears his Achilles. Chase Sexton wins that race and then wins the following race. And now Chase Sexton is the champion. He's an Illinois boy. He's from Illinois. He wears the number 23 from Michael Jordan. He wore his Bulls type of number 23 jersey for the race this past weekend as he was crowned the champion. And like I couldn't be any happier for him. So shout out to Chase Sexton.
Man, I didn't realize Colin Sexton was in motocross. That's crazy.
No. Chase.
Any relation there?
I don't think so.
No.
But yeah, he's a good kid. I mean, like I said, the most just devastating crashes. He'd be winning with, 3 laps to go and just throws it away. And how do you come back from that? How do you have the mental fortitude to just be like, all right, well, next week, got to get him.
Yep. I'm gonna back up on this horse and make it happen.
And then the next week it happens, and you're like,
That's fucking crazy.
like Leah has been watching with me, and she said at one point, like, why does he even still do this? Like, well,
Yeah.
he's a professional. He gets paid to do this.
Like the Derrick Rose injuries back in the day,
Yeah.
Injured, gets back on there, gets hurt again. It's like, hey, yay.
Like, I wanted to make it a topic for a conversation on this podcast at some point during this year of like, who is the least clutch athlete of all time? He would have been number one far and away. I didn't even have a good comparison to give you. It was unbelievable how just mentally flip-floppy this guy was. And he pulled it off. He stuck around. The best ability is availability. And he was there at the end, took advantage, and now he's the champ. So shout out Chase Sexton. Look forward to seeing him in 2 weeks in Pala for round 1 of motocross. I'm looking forward to that. Pala. All right. So shout out to all you guys that are listening. Shout out to you, T-Bone. Thanks for being here tonight.
Hey, likewise.
All right, fellas. I'll see you guys next time.
Catch you for episode 10. Peace out.
Bye-bye.